Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Porsche Cup Challenge multi-class sports car racing here at Motorland Aragon. As always, I'm your host, James Eastspring, the Action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as drivers are starting to get gridded up behind our iRacing safety truck. Let's go ahead and run through the grid for today, starting on pole with the overall best qualifying time, Jack Buser, the number 32 machine. He's accompanied by Aiden Young, as well as David Bauer starting third, Charlie Pouillet starting fourth, and Jason Lyons will round out our GTP top five. Jeff Seville starting on pole, 6th overall for our Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. We've got Dan McFarland starting 7th, Michael McLeod starting 8th, Michael Carrillo starting 9th, Adam Schmidt starting 10th, Joe Lima starting 11th, Tyler Anderson starting 12th, and let's cycle it back a little bit further. Shannon Motherall starting 13th. Dan Morera starts 14th. Bill Haynes starting 15th. Tyler Maraglia starting 16th. Gary Watson starting 17th. Jonathan De Kaiser starting 18th. And Emmanuel Ojo starting 19th to round out the field here today. Waiting for Buser, Young, Dekoucher, Ojo to all get lined up here. And then we will get things started for this 50-minute main event. As here we go, gonna get things started off. We've got our GTPs out front. PCCs will be starting on that second wave of drivers right behind. As we wait for that iRacing safety truck to make its way down. Now it's interesting with how slow these drivers are under iPacing conditions. Actually making the broadcast software trigger thinking that there's been some incidents out on track, but really, it's the software realizing that, or thinking that the drivers are going much slower than anticipated. Safety truck down pit road, and we are underway. Jack Buser, a massive launch of that number 32 machine. Let's pan back as the field underway for the Porsche Cup Challenge drivers as well. Jeff Seville is going to lead the charge. Michael McLeod has gained an early spot, up one position. Now, in the last few weeks, we've seen some pretty wild finishes here, really in both classes, and I think Michael Carrillo has a big off-track moment. He's going to lose 8 spots, falling to 12th in class, 17th overall. So not the start he was looking for. Jack Buser out front has gained a very comfortable 1.2 second gap over Aiden Young's number 427. I think this may be the first time I've called a race here before, so very interesting. It almost looks like a mixture of Circuit of the Americas, Laguna, and almost Spa-esque from what I'm seeing. Still have a battle for second overall. And second in class for the GTPs, that's Aiden Young and David Bauer battling for second. As we get the overall, or excuse me, the class leaders pulled up in front of us. Oh, and look at that, David Bauer right on the tail. And Charlie Pouillet also in the mix in the 444 machine. Now, this has given Buser quite a lengthy breakaway. You can also see Jason Lyons in the 340 machine kind of lagging behind this top field a little bit. He's about 1.7 seconds off the back of Charlie Pouillet in the 444 machine. Pouillet, whoa, swinging way wide there. Looking for a line against David Bauer. Does a great job. Comes in a little bit hot, though. Bauer working on the slow in, fast out technique. Quickly stretches that gap back to 0.7 of a second. As the lap time is very, very quick here. About 1:46 is what we're seeing out of User. The overall race leader, he put it on pole in qualifying. We're seeing, looks like about right around the 2:03 mark out of Jeff Seville for the PCC drivers. Seville has built up a comfortable 1 second gap. You can see Michael McLeod, who's been getting stronger and faster throughout this championship, as well as Dan McFarland sitting in third in class in that number 23 machine. And we've got a crash report. David Bauer, the number 35, has an off-track excursion. He's going to fall back to fifth in class, fifth overall. Now, those two drivers, Jonathan De Keyser and Emmanuel Ojo, did not make this main event, so they will not be coming out. And look at this. Here's a move, Charlie Pouliere. The 444 working the inside line against Aiden Young. Young gets left out to dry. These high downforce GTPs are not very comfortable at very slow speed, so drivers have no downforce in those moments. And Pierre, that's going to be his second spot gain. Now, while this battle's been going on, Jack Buser has stretched the gap 5 seconds up ahead of that 444 in second. And it's going to be interesting to see if the field stretches out here. You've got the battle for second overall, second in class, Charlie Pierre and Aiden Young. And you've also got the battle for second in class with our PCC drivers, as we watch Dan McFarland has the Porsche revving right behind Michael McLeod's number 15 machine. Trying to work the draft here to pull up, but not quite able to do it here into turn one. We go back to the battle for second, Charlie Pierre, Aiden Young. Young trying to get back around the big mean green machine of Pierre, but not quite having the luck he's looking for yet. That could allow Jason Lyons or maybe David Bauer, who had that incident, to get back up here and maybe fight for a podium position. We've seen very equally talented drivers before in the past here in the Porsche Cup Challenge. As Young, a big send up the inside line. Pierre's going to hold the position, but man, these guys are racing. What I was going to say was we've seen equally matched drivers in the past put themselves in a bit of the vortex of danger and send themselves and their competitors off track in the past. Four-tenths separating the two. Young is going to try and get a little bit of momentum built back up. But let's go further back in the field, back to our Porsche Cup Challenge. We're focusing on Lima and the 47 machine, trying to track down Anderson as well as Schmidt, who are in their own battle. That's going to be for fourth in class for our Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. Now we've seen some big sends on the brakes here, and the field stacks up a little bit. Lima looking for an opening against Anderson's 115 machine. And great racing. Granted, we're only just about 7 minutes into this main event, but I'm always impressed with the Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. To see how tight the racing is here. Now looks like Anderson able to hold his own. So Anderson focusing both directions, trying to get around Adam Schmidt, the number 12 machine, who sits fourth in class, while also trying to drive a little bit defensively, but with Lima in very hot pursuit. And let's go back up. I'm seeing on the live timing, Charlie Pouliot has not been able to shake off Aiden Young in the 427. Young looking for an opening. We've seen some big moves on the brakes from these top three drivers overall as well as in class. You can see the O2 lit up on the side of Pouliot's green machine showing his in-class position. Last time by, Pouliot and Young, both a 144.47, identical lap times, and also their fastest laps of the race. So these two guys working together, setting identical lap times. We've also got a report, yes, oh no, as I say that, Anderson made the move for fourth in class, almost throws it away. Schmidt and Lima both hard on the binders to avoid getting the 115 machine. And Schmidt has all sorts of pressure behind now, as it looks like Anderson is going to be able to hold on to it, very defensive on the inside line, trying to make Schmidt and Lima go the long way around. Schmidt looking for an opening that is quickly chopped off by Anderson. Lima might be in the best spot here, just kind of watching these two go at it. And looking for an opening. I mean, look at Schmidt all over the back of Anderson. And that's allowing Bill Haynes as well as Motherall, running 7th and 8th in class, 13th and 14th overall, an opportunity to get back in the mix here. Anderson trying to hammer down and get a bit of a breakaway. He wants Schmidt and Lima to have their own battle. That 115 can try and get a little bit of breathing room here. Now a 50-minute race kind of falls in between that line of sprint and endurance. Now drivers will have to take one pit stop here this evening for the main event. And you see drivers flying by. That was Jack Buser. And number 32 machine, the overall race leader. That's Anderson right ahead. And Buser is on the gas, not wanting to get tied up with lap traffic, but really not that much of a risk for him to slow down a little bit and pick those passes carefully. He's got almost a 6-second advantage over Charlie Pouliot in the 444 machine. Pouliot, though, still has Young in hot pursuit. Let's get the camera point over that. Wait a second, I just saw the crash report. Okay, so it briefly said that Buser was involved in an incident, but I think that was due to heavy lifting around the Porsche Cup Challenge. Now Pierre, oh my goodness, not a lot of room to wiggle through here. As we watch Pierre absolutely flying, it looked like he gained a little bit of time on Young. But this is going to be very, very hectic as you see Young cutting through the field. The GTP drivers have their elbows out and they are charging through here. Now, I've got to say, with my racing experience, I always thought it was scary to be the driver getting lapped as we watched David Bauer recovering for an off-track excursion. But once I was in the faster class and the one doing the lapping, I realized it was infinitely more terrifying to be the one cutting through the field. Looks like Bill Haynes, Motherall, and Carrillo have caught up behind Lima. Adam Schmidt has gained about a 9/10 advantage here. Oh, and who was that spun around? That was Tyler Anderson. The 115 trying to choose his rejoin carefully here. Not wanting to pull out into a hot racetrack. Thankfully, lots of concrete runoff here. Makes it much easier to get turned around, and we can't help but look back to the battle for second overall. Aiden Young hops out of the draft, deep on the brakes. Is he alongside enough to make the pass? Oh, is there contact there? as Pouyer and Young really lean in on each other. My goodness. So now Young's going to be back in second. Pouyer in the 444, repaying the favor along the inside line. Pulls up in front of Young. And will hold on to this position for a little while longer. Let's go back to Adam Schmidt, who's got a freight train behind him. That's Lima, Haynes, Motheral not too far behind as well. And it looks like Haynes is going to gain that spot against Lima. But now look at this. That's Motheral, Carrillo. Right there in the freight train. I always love Carrillo's paint schemes, that number 29. A very clean car. Oh, I heard contact. I think Motheral may have given a little bit of a shove there to Lima. And now Carrillo trying to take advantage of that situation. Up front, Jack Buser has gained a 10-second margin over Charlie Pouyer in the 444. It does not look like the battle between Pouyer and Young has lessened at all here. Still 2/10 separating as Young, the black and yellow 427, pacing the fluorescent, or pearlescent, I guess is the right term, 444 of Pouyer. There we go. Pouyer just sets his fastest lap of the race, a 144.39. We just got a report Tyler Anderson has taken a tow back to pit road, the 115 machine. Young trying every line he can, but a bit of a bobble there. He is going to lose a lot. I wonder if he missed the shift or maybe had a bit of what we call a money shift, an accidental downshift. As now for the first time in 9 laps that it's been over a second between Pouyer and Young. Young is going to have his work cut out for him. We pan further back. Look at that freight train. That is 4th through 8th with our Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. Adam Schmidt at the front of it. Bill Haynes right behind the 89 machine. And here we go, Lima firing back against Haynes. Haynes falls back to 6th. Motheral trying to muscle his way through, as well as Carrillo. Motheral on the burnt orange number 19 machine. Well, looks like Haynes is going to hold on here to that 6th place class position, at least for a little while longer, as Motheral and Carrillo both trying to muscle around. Lima has a bit of a bobble there, able to hold on to, but oh, there we go. That's Bill. Okay, I thought it was an incident, but that's Haynes coming down pit road for a pretty aggressive undercut on the rest of the field, only about 17 minutes into this 50-minute main event. And now Motheral and Carrillo are going to try and keep the pressure on Lima. Carrillo right on the back of Mothral. Aiden Young also down pit road for an undercut, number 427. Now we're watching still. It's Lima, Mothral, Carrillo battling for 5th in class in the Porsche Cup Challenge. These are the 3 closest drivers we have out on track right now. Now Tom Maraglia in pit road, the 226 machine. Bill Haynes has had an incident where he falls back to 11th in class. Maraglia rolls out of pit road. I want to see Aiden Young was in his pit stall for 26 seconds. I didn't see any damage on Young's machine, but odd that he would come in early for the undercut this early in. So this puts Young almost a full minute back from Jack Buser, who is so far, hands down, been the dominant driver for the GTP class. And I've got to say, Mothral's got to be happy here in the Shiner Boxback number 19 machine, being tucked in behind Lima ahead of Carrillo. These racers love good, tight racing as they are about to have a GTP muscling through here. Is that Buser? Yes, it is. The overall race leader interjecting himself into this battle for 5th in class for a Porsche Cup Challenge. And around goes Carrillo. I didn't see any contact there between him and Buser, but I wonder if he maybe got him a little bit offline and had him spinning around. And then also Lima also having the incident. So we're having, excuse me, I think that was Lima originally we saw in that incident careening off track. So I don't think Carrillo was involved in that one. But for Jack Buser, the overall race leader, Buser trying to stay out of the vortex of danger here. His fastest lap, almost 6-7 tenths faster than anybody else on the circuit at this point. Oh, and he gets a little bit of a bump there. Was that Michael McLeod? Looks like there may have been netcode between the overall race leader and the second in class Porsche Cup Challenge driver. The Buser just cutting through the field here now. He's lost about a second to Charlie Pouillet, having to manage traffic. But right now, your race leaders, Jack Buser and Jeff Seville, in a league of their own. So Buser, 9 seconds up over Charlie Pouillet. Jeff Seville, 3.3 ahead of Michael McLeod in the number 15 machine. Seville clicking off laps, fastest lap time, a 2:01.7. Now I saw another report from Lima, had a couple of off-track excursions here. Now Lima down 2 spots from where he originally qualified, still having a pretty strong race so far. And then Bill Haynes also having complicated issues. Haynes is going to lose a spot here as there goes Tyler Miraglia in the 226. Taking over the 10th place position for our Porsche Cup Challenge. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Anderson has retired from this event 5 laps prior. Anderson was running the 115 machine, qualified as high as 7th in class. As we get ready to stand up the crossed green and white flags to signal that we are at the halfway mark for Jack Buser. Last time by, Buser was over a 1.5 seconds faster than Pouillet. So I'm wondering if maybe things are going to calm down a little bit. We really don't have any driver. Oh, as I say that, Lima way off track there. Adam Schmidt comes down pit road. That's going to be Gary Watson, the Aussie in the 64 machine, catching up to the back of Lima. Maybe not getting the drive he was looking for. Lima's still going to hold a 2-second advantage. Other than that, the 2 closest drivers we have out on track, really the only drivers on circuit at this point within a second of each other for position, is going to be Tyler Miraglia, the 226, and Bill Haynes, the number 89 machine. And this will be the battle for 10th in class. Haynes has a big run here, looks up to the inside line. Does he try something on the brakes? No, tucks in behind Miraglia. Oh, but still trying to muscle his way up the inside line, but that's going to give Miraglia the line choice for the next corner. Haynes gets pushed a little bit wide here. Can he shoot the gap and squeeze the position? It looks like it's going to be close. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Haynes had the advantage by about 10ths of a second, but who do we have right behind? That is once again Jack Buser. About to find himself interjecting in the battle for 10th for our Porsche Cup Challenge. Oh, not for long though. Buser just flies around those 2. Not even a lift, no hesitation. Well, I heard somebody sliding a little bit there. Haynes makes the pass possible. Jason Lyons in the number 340 GTP comes down pit road for his first stop of the evening. As we watch Haynes try and defend. Oh, something else has happened. Motheral, facing the wrong direction, rejoins, loses the spot to Michael Carrillo. So Carrillo will move up to his original qualifying spot, which is 4th. Motheral down to 5th. Now, as Jason Lyons is in pit road, I'm interested to see how his pit time stacks up to Aiden Young. Young was in a stall for just about 26 seconds. Lyons in and out in 21.8, so a faster pit stop. Oh, I just saw, yep, Jack Buser behind the Aussie of Gary Watson. And here we go, Buser's down pit road. We're going to watch this pit stop here, see how quick it might be. Now he's trying to be faster than a 21.8. Charlie Pouillet also takes this opportunity to come down pit road. So let's start the clock and see how long Buser is here for. You can see Charlie Pouillet in the background getting lifted up for service. David Bauer will take over the overall race lead. And there we go, Buser in and out, 22.82 seconds. The total pit lane time, 49.44 seconds. Michael McLeod coming down pit road. Pouillet a little bit longer stop, 25.5 seconds, almost 3 seconds slower than Buser on pit road. McFarland moves up into second as McLeod is on pit road. But now David Bauer, the number 35 machine, is going to get credit for a lap led here. But we all know he still has to box. Buser, Pouillet came down on lap 16. Aiden Young with the undercut. He came down on lap 10. And Jason Lyons came down pit road on lap 15. There's a lot of Porsche Cup Challenge drivers on pit road. Michael Carrillo, Dan Morera on pit road as McLeod rolls out of the pit lane exit. Oh, Jason Lyons in the GTP was in a very precarious position after his self-spin. Thankfully, there wasn't any traffic heading down the hill as he was right in the racing line. Dan Morera coming out of pit road. Now, interesting, looking at the pit lane times, Michael McLeod, Adam Schmidt, Michael Carrillo, they came down pit road between lap 12 and 14. We're all within about a 11-second to a 13-second pit stop. But Morera, Haynes, and Morera and Haynes were over a 20-second pit stop. So not quite sure what the issue there was. Jeff Seville, class leader for Porsche Cup Challenge, down pit road. Dan McFarland takes over the race lead. He has yet to box here. David Bauer, that number 35 machine, has also yet to box as he holds on to a 10-second advantage over Jack Buser. It briefly showed Buser involved in an incident. I didn't quite see anything. I wonder if he was just very hard on the binders. David Bauer is on pit road. I don't know, I see the smoke. I'm not sure if that's from Bauer coming down pit road or if Buser truly was involved in an incident. Mothral has moved up into second in class for the Porsche Cup Challenge behind McFarlane. Let's see how quickly Bauer is on pit road as he falls back to fourth in class. Pouillet and Young move up to second and third. They came down pit road much earlier. And it looks to be a long stop for Bauer, the number 35. 32 seconds and counting here. And Porsche Cup Challenge, Dan McFarlane shows the race leader a 22-second advantage over Mothral. Mothral and McFarlane have yet to box. And right behind them, that is Jeff Seville, Michael McLeod, Adam Schmidt. They were previously the top three, and they're all going to be linked up back together. As Jeff Seville capitalizes on a little bit of a bobble from Mothral, McLeod goes around as well. So once McFarlane comes down pit road, this could be the battle for the lead between Seville and McLeod. As I saw Mothral shooting towards the pit entrance, he's going to come down pit road for his one scheduled stop. Oh, a bit of a curb hop there from McLeod. He is on the ragged edge trying to keep Seville within striking distance. But Seville has just been so extremely consistent so far tonight, has pulled it back to 1.3 seconds in his favor. Mothral rolling out of pit. So Dan McFarlane, let's see if we can get a camera angle of McFarlane, the number 23 machine. Ooh, a bit of a bobble there as he's pushing very, very wide on exit. Showing as the race leader, he's 21 seconds right now ahead of Jeff Seville, but looking at the pit lane time, Porsche Cup Challenge driver spending about 38 to 40 seconds on pit road. I'm curious to see, once McFarlane finally has the box, he's holding a good time above Seville. Not really losing too much time here, that number 3 machine who previously led the majority of the race. I'm interested to see where McFarlane's going to be after this pit stop is completed. In theory, he should be about 18 seconds behind Seville and McLeod, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. In a perfect world, McFarlane should have to take less fuel with 15 minutes left to go in this main event. Oh, and look at that, McFarlane is going to throw it away. The number 23 machine, a huge slide. Oh, and the tires are going to be way overheated here as he's trying to get that thing fired back up. And all that work, unfortunately, I think is going to be undone for McFarlane. Here comes Jack Buser, the 32, leading the GTPs as well as the overall here. McFarlane tucks right back at home. That was almost a 10-second incident for McFarlane. Had just about a 21-second gap over Jeff Seville. And now it has been whittled down to 11.5 seconds. McFarland's going to come down pit road. We got a crash report from Michael McLeod, but doesn't look like he lost too much time here to Jeff Seville, so I'm not quite sure what the incident was, but Seville should now take back over the race lead for the Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. So McFarland in and out of his pit stall, 9.6 seconds. That was one of the fastest, if not the fastest, Porsche Cup Challenge pit stops I've seen so far today. But unfortunately, that big moment will cost him tons of time. He is now 20.5 seconds back from Dan McFarland. Another incident reported for Bill Haynes in number 89 machine, but keeping it going. Lima on pit road. That's going to be the second stop, I believe, for Lima. So must have had some sort of mechanical issue. Let's check back in on Jack Buser in the 32. Buser just rocking and rolling here. A 24-second gap over Charlie Pouliere. And we had something else reported, Aiden Young triggering our crash report software. Young has been on, we haven't talked about him in the last few laps or so, but Young has been trying to put down some heaters here to catch up to Pierre. 2.6 separating the two. And I just saw a crash report as well. Lima, yes, involved in a self-spin. Loses another spot to Maraglia, and something has happened. Dan McFarland back down pit road for the second time here. What happened to McFarland? The number 23, he's going to fall back to 5th. That's going to put Seville, McLeod, and Schmidt as your top 3 for the Porsche Cup Challenge. Less than 10 minutes left to go here. And let's see, David Bauer, the number 35 machine, unfortunately is going to take a tow back to pit road. He has done out of this as well, so late into the race, we're starting to lose some drivers here, as that just leaves 4 of our GTPs out on track. I mean, we've seen this in races past where things get a little bit out of hand late into the race. Less than 9 minutes left to go at the Porsche Cup Challenge. And we are watching Michael Carrillo trying to track down Adam Schmidt's number 12. Let's see, does Carrillo have something left in the tank here? He's within a second of Schmidt. Looks like the very slightest of bobbles on corner exit. Schmidt surely knows that the number 29 machine looking to steal that final podium spot for their class. And it looks like Jack Buser. I'm not sure if he's just hard on the binders there as he triggers the crash report once more in the software, but I'm not seeing him bleeding any time to Pouillet in the 444 machine. I think if I was in Buser's position here, I would just take it easy, click off some laps, and stay cool, calm, and collected. Sometimes that's easier said than done for some of these drivers. Buser cut through the field. We've got 4 drivers on the lead lap, but we've got to report that Adam Schmidt has all sorts of company as Michael Carrillo closing the gap in the number 29 machine. Tom Maraglia, he goes off track in the 226. He's way out no man's land. And it's going to rejoin the track surface. And something has happened. Okay, there we go. Michael McLeod had showed a track position change, but he was working his way around David Bauer, number 35, who has retired that GTP machine. So Bauer is out as well, so that's going to leave 4 GTP drivers on the track. Now we're all waiting to see what's going to happen between Schmidt and Carrillo. As Jack Buser starting to close that gap right behind. Was that Buser I just saw getting loose? Yes, it was. Buser almost pitched it away, trying to get around the battling Porsche Cup Challenge drivers. Buser just refuses to back out of the throttle here. In his defense, after that moment, he quickly gets around Schmidt and Carrillo. But this is the battle for the final podium spot. Carrillo's got him within a quarter of a second, deep on the brakes. And you can tell Carrillo just hunting for every line he can. I like this from Carrillo. Now that he's tucked in behind Schmidt, kind of learning where that number 12 machine is placing his car, kind of gives him the opportunity to try some different line selections here. He knows he has less than 5 minutes left to go, doesn't want to wait too long to make the attempt of a pass, but also doesn't want to show his cards too early, as he knows Schmidt just about identical on pace here. I mean, their fastest lap times of the race, both within a tenth of each other. Four minutes left to go in this main event. Oh, a little bit of net code there between Schmidt and Carrillo. Carrillo letting him know, hey, I'm still here right on the bumper. And I think that's going to go poorly as Carrillo makes the pass on Schmidt. It looked like a little bit of net code, or maybe just took the air off the rear wing of Schmidt's number 12 machine. There was net code prior to that, but Carrillo is going to move into that third place position for the Porsche Cup Challenge. And Schmidt now going to be 2.5 seconds from the back of that big purple and green number 29. There's Charlie Pouillet still running second overall, second in class, making his way around Carrillo. Now Pouillet about 24 seconds back now from Jack Buser. And Buser had a bob with the lap prior. He lost about over 3 seconds of his fastest lap of the race, but right now with less than 3 minutes left to go, this is definitely Buser's race to lose. Just has to be manageable about getting through traffic, not finding himself in too dangerous of a position, as he has a very comfortable 25-second gap over Charlie Pouliot. So Buser's had some bobbles the last couple of laps. Looks like he's going to string a heater this last lap. He clicked off a 143.73 and has regained almost a second and a half on Pierre. Now the field very stretched out. We still have 17 drivers. No, correction. We're going to have 15 of the 17 drivers that started here today still out on track, with 4 on the lead lap: Buser, Pierre, Young, and Lyons. As Buser gets the 1-minute warning. So it looks like Buser is going to lead the field around once more. Dan McFarland, unfortunately involved in another incident, that number 23 machine. Problems are starting to complicate for that number 23. Now he's down 4 spots from where he qualified, so this may be a race event that he would rather forget. As there goes Jason Lyons, catching up to the tail end there of Dan McFarland. The checkered flag should be out for Buser this time by, as he's going to navigate traffic until the very end of this feature event. Half a lap left to go for Jack Buser, the number 32. Screaming here tonight, has been running this race fairly uncontested from start to finish. Buser definitely backed off the pace a little bit. He did a 144.29 compared to his 143.33 his lap prior. Excuse me, his fastest lap of the race. And here we go. Jack Buser into the final portions here. Hard on the brakes. And oh my goodness, Jack Buser, with, I believe the kids call this a bit of a flex, is going to cross the start-finish line backwards. Let's see if we get a J-turn out of him here. But we've seen the Polish victory laps. This is a bit of a new one here, so we're not going to see the J-turn out of him. But Jack Buser apparently winning tonight in style. Maybe that's why he sent me the update, to make sure that his name was pronounced correctly. So it's going to be Buser the top spot, Pouliot second, Aiden Young will finish third. Jeff Seville will bring it home in the top spot for Porsche Cup Challenge. Michael McLeod finishing second. And now we're going to play some Porsche Cup Challenge bowling ball, I think, into turn 1. Racers celebrating in style. So here we go, our official results of the event. It's Jack Buser, Charlie Pouillier, and Aiden Young with the top three for the GTP drivers. And now we check in on the Porsche Cup Challenge. And it's going to be Jeff Seville, the top spot, Michael McLeod second, and Michael Carrillo will round out the top three. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, as well as the Porsche Cup Challenge, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.